Hey everybody, how's it going? We're doing it live. Don't really do a lot of these. It's been a bit actually. But hey, we're gonna try it out. It's 2025 and I feel like I'm gonna try and do more of these things. I didn't even have time. I'm coming like straight from meetings, so I didn't even have time to undress the synthesizer. Yeah, we're gonna try something today. We're gonna go through one of my string quartets from 2011, string quartet number 1, and we're gonna move it from Finale into Dorico. This is totally live. Like, I don't know exactly how this will go. We'll just give it an hour at max, see how far we get. Maybe we get all the way through it, maybe not. But if you have questions, I'll basically just explain what I'm doing as I'm going through it. We'll probably run into some issues, kind of inevitable at this point. So yeah, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. But yeah, this is an interesting thing to see and do because, like I said, I don't know this stuff. This is an old piece as well, right? So like, that's an old version of Finale. And so we're opening it in Finale 27 because for the most part, this has just been in PDF when folks play it. Here, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so like, let's check it out. This is the piece. It's got some interesting things in there with, you know, like old school how Finale did harmonics, which oftentimes you had to skirt the rules because it looked ugly, right? Like a lot of the plugins, I think way back in 2011, they didn't work as well as now. So some of these are like literally 2 notes in one. Actually, let me scroll in or zoom in. Some of these right here, these harmonics, I think that I did these with 2 notes and then changed the note head because it was so fucking terrible to do in Finale. Doing things like this, which is totally like very Shostakovich, right? That's also like, you know, I probably had to fudge around to get that to look pretty. This I remember being really annoying in Finale. Yeah, so there's a lot of this stuff. So we'll see what happens. The spacing on this piece, I remember, it's like a 17, 18 minute quartet. But I remember doing spacing was pretty difficult because I had these larger time signatures. I'm not going to do that in this new version because I just don't think it's as necessary. I don't know. I was really into it for a bit, but right now I'm like, not. So we'll see. We'll see how these Bartok Pitzes move over. I honestly don't know if they'll come in really clean or not. Also, all this stuff, like the text, we'll see how that does. Yeah, this is a total experiment. You've probably seen some of the previous videos that I did where I showed how to do this, and I've done it with a few pieces, but nothing like this one. And that's why I think this is good to do live, because we'll see like really how this goes. This does have some like really lush moments in it, somewhere around here. God, this piece is long. Yeah, some nice pretty stuff that happens, and so I'm sure that'll come in no problem. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, so this file, let's close this out here. Let's see. So we're gonna do this one. You can see I have a few different versions, but this was, I last touched this in 2018. So let's see. Right, because it's Finale. It highlights and shows you when it's not happy. Right, when things were moved. Also, I'm betting that like parts are gonna be totally fucked from this. The parts are in good condition. You know, like I did these. This piece has been played. This piece has been recorded. I'll throw the link in the description. But it's been recorded back in 2014 by the Grant Street String Quartet. It's on YouTube, Spotify, all those things. So go listen to it there. But yeah, so I have nice, pretty parts. And that's kind of why I've been hesitant to do this, because I know I'm going to have to go back over this. But that's what we're going to do. So here's where we're going to begin. We're going to export it. So Finale, File, Export. We're going to do a music XML. We'll save it here. Let's call this like the 2025 edition. Let's see what happens. It's cooking. in theory. Okay, so that's it. That it's exported. I already have Dorico opened. Speaking of which, there recently was an update, so if you haven't updated, you probably should. But I am working with, you can see down here maybe, version 5.1.81. So let's open and import right here. I'm going to pour myself some more coffee. I know it's 12 p.m. Eastern, but I'm cold and I want more coffee. Alas. Where is this piece? Okay, so sound. My files are also kind of all over the place. I try to be as organized as possible, but I'm not always good at that. Here we go, 2025 edition. I'm gonna close Finale because I don't want anything to get mad at each other. I guess we'll save. Oh, already. Like, what are you? What is this? What the hell is this? Oh, it's a, oh my God, this is a crescendo. Can you see this in the top right corner? It's a P crescendo. I don't know where that's coming from or where it's going. Overall, let's take a look. I'm going to turn off signposts. Signposts, if you're unfamiliar, they're these things up here, right? So here at the top, it identifies that there's some text, a frame break, the key we're in. These are signposts, and I'm going to hide them just so we can look around. And you can do that in View, Signposts, Hide Signposts. They're great. Like, I like to have them on, especially when editing, but for right now, I don't think it's necessary. Also, is this text? Okay, so the pits came in as a proper playing technique, so that's nice. Looking around. Overall, this looks not that bad. I think there's some spacing issues I want to change. I like to have my rehearsal letters on the left side when possible. I don't remember where any of the bar talk pits are. Maybe this is going to be a super short video. And now I'm, oh, look at that. Ah, shit. That's good. Look at that. Oh my God. So let's turn on signposts so we can see. I'm guessing there are no frame breaks, no system breaks. Oh, this is funny. I was kind of hoping that something, oh, actually, no, look at this. There's one frame break and then it's just a hot mess. I was kind of hoping this would happen because it would give us something to do. But also this sucks because I don't want to do this. This is going to be so messy. This is so stupid. Oh, God. All right. Let's check out Violin 1. Still another one of these long-ass crescendos randomly floating. Whatever the hell that is. I'll probably just delete it. I mean, it's crossing everything. It seems like it's faster for me to just like figure it out myself as opposed to keeping it in. We have some group dynamics. I don't know if you can tell, but also you see this thing here. If you're annoyed with clicking on this, and in this situation right now, as we're looking around, this is kind of in the way. You can hide that. View, and then the system track, or Alt-T, if you want to use hotkeys. We have some grouped dynamic issues here. Something like this. Right, so like the crescendo here is ending not where we want it to. And so everything's kind of bumped and moved around. So I would probably ungroup all this. Right-clicking, dynamics, and then ungroup these guys. I don't know if that did anything. Oh, and I just dragged it and it disappeared. Cool. Yeah, it's messy. There's also another forte in here. How many fortes are there? So some of this stuff I think we're just going to delete and start over because if there's duplicates of things, I don't want that. That's just annoying. Overall, I think this doesn't look that bad in the parts. It's terrible in the score, but it's not bad in the parts. We'll have to do some fixes, but okay. First things first, I'm going to update the project details. Also, don't know how boring this all is to y'all. So, you know, chime in. Let me know what you're thinking if you have any questions or whatever. Otherwise, we'll just keep rolling on through. All right, so I'm going to go into engrave mode real quick and get rid of this because I don't want to see the headings. So I'm going to go library. I think it's under layout options. And then, yeah, I don't want to see flow headings. I wish this wasn't defaulted on. It doesn't seem necessary to me. So I'm going to hit that, and now it's hiding that. Those are down here under flow headings. That's where you would like change those, edit those. Our page size is letter, so that's good enough. We have custom. I'm going to set this to, I don't know. Let's see what happens with 6. It's a little big. Although, honestly, that's not probably that bad because if somebody's reading this, but we'll put it down to 5.5. So I'm trying to do all of my like global things before I start messing around with stuff. Also, it looks like we have some manual adjustments that it imported, something like that. These systems are a little not what they're supposed to be. Okay, back into those layout options. Also, these margins are massive. I don't like large margins because when you print, or at least my printer often will like have too big of margins anyways because it adds a buffer because I'm not using bleed. So let's cut this down. On the top, I want 10. At the bottom, I want 10. On the side, and this is probably because it was a finale issue, but we're just gonna make these even. We're just gonna do 12 and 24. I probably will change that later on, but just to give us something to work with. Yeah, this is so ugly now. So where do we begin? What happens if we delete this guy? And then give a new one for A. So now I'm going to give it a system break. Yeah. I'm just curious if it would, like this overlapping is annoying. And if you ask me, how do you fix that? We'll figure it out. Okay, so what is this text? It's just a text there. I'm guessing that's not supposed. So here's the original score. Yeah, we don't need that. All right, we're getting rid of that. I don't know. I mean, we don't need a frame break. This is the beginning of the page, so why would we even think about that? I don't want to get into moving things around just yet. I want to fix everything else, but for the sake of right now, I'm just going to move these things. Let's take a look at library because my spacing seems weird, the vertical spacing. So staff to staff, right? So that's here to here. I'm going to put that at 8 because we do have a lot of text that comes through. And then the gap in between these would be here, like the inner system. So I do like to use these. If you scroll to, where is it? Staves and systems. I like system dividers, especially for stuff like this. I don't know. I just like the view of it. And I like long ones. So we're going to do that. Add these babies in. I don't know if you did this with Finale, but it was hell. And you'd always have to do it last because it would come in as an expression because it was like a font. It was so stupid. It was so annoying. And actually long is really big. Let's change these to the default, a little bit smaller. Back to vertical spacing here. I want more space in between these. Let's go to like 13. Too much. Too much. Whoa. 11, yeah. All right, something else that I get a little annoyed with is this. I don't want to see anything really justified too much right now. So I'm going to go 90 because I don't know. I don't want everything to move around too much. Okay. We'll just keep working down the line. So we have a random ass frame break here. Let's get rid of you. I know I said I wasn't going to do, oops, that was frame break. All these paging things, but alas. System break. I'm deciding if I want to just tell the whole thing to put like 6 measures on every line and then adjust manually from there. And obviously you can tell I'm avoiding this. This is, should we jump in here? I'm going to need yeah, for this, I'm going to need definitely a bigger cup of coffee. If I apply a Dorico template to this XML file, would that minimize the editing? Maybe. That's a good question. I haven't done that. That's a good question. Probably. Okay, let's see. All right, we're just gonna jump in, deal with this bullshit, and make a bunch of system breaks. And it's probably gonna need a ton more. This is so hard to see. If somebody has a better idea of how to do this, tell me. I have hotkeys for this. I don't know if it's already in the system or not, but I'm using the right caret or the period can move a measure kind of down. So for example, coming over here, if I want to move this one down here, that's what does that, the period. If I use the comma, it moves it left. That may already be one of them, but I don't know. Okay, so these, our staff spacing is messy. So I'm going to click in here. Where's staff spacing? And let's reset. Yeah, why are you? I don't know why it's putting these at the weirdest lengths. Maybe we need to go into the, because shouldn't it reset everything if I do that? Ideal gaps, we already have those where I want it. And it shouldn't have any specific finale like options or preferences moving over. All that should be fine. If you know how to do this faster than I do, tell me so I don't have to do it. So I don't have to look it up. F1, here we go. Let's find out. I'll just click on any of these. I'm gonna hide all my bookmarks from you people. Okay, let's talk about reset staff spacing. Something like that. See, I just want everything to be like totally reset. I want like a global reset. Copy spacing. Isn't this so fun to watch? I feel like I'm sitting in this manual all the time, looking up something for like, why is this not working? Fixing the number of systems per frame. That's part of what we want, but we want the vertical. If I So those things I put in. Okay, yes, hold on. We're going to try this copy staff spacing, which I've never used that. I don't know. It's never something I run into. A lot of this is, yeah, because I haven't honestly imported that much stuff. I just haven't needed to. Color me lucky, I guess. Am I clicking on one of these? What the hell? Ah, there's a window over here. Copy from, yeah, let's see. This is page 8, start. Yeah, that's fine. And then, can I paste? Should I have finished reading that thing there? Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's try something real quick. We're going to do this because I wonder if this is faster. We're going to go to layout, and we're going to look at the number of measures per system. And we're going to make that something. Where is that? System dividers, casting off. Let's do fixed number of systems per frame. No, we don't need that. Let's just go with this. See if this makes us happier. In theory, it doesn't look like it moved anything over, but if I just select one of you dudes. Oh, this is so ugly. Whoa. Why did you do that? It kind of resolved itself to a certain level. I hit one of these and I told it to create a frame break. I am sure there's an easier way to do this. I'm not paid by Dorico or Finale. I'm not really paid by anybody. I'm just figuring this shit out, but maybe they should comment below. All right, well, that kind of resolved things. I mean, it definitely, like, doesn't look as bad as it did. All right, that's not bad. Cool. We're gonna get rid of this. Where does it begin? That definitely should not be there. So it's starting, I think, at the very beginning. Nope. All right, so we're gonna delete that, and that is here. Yeah. So there's these weird duplicates. I'm guessing that this was an error in Finale where I put in two, probably of my own issue, and they, were hidden. So now I gotta change that. So let's remove all those. This could be so boring to do, but hopefully that should help with our spacing. And like this frame break here, we're gonna turn you into system break. Oh God, and now you're looking stupid again. Let's manually set the number of systems to 3. Let's say 3. That didn't do it. Why didn't that do it? Why do we do this to ourselves? Notation. I actually don't know if that was going to do anything, but I just did it. All right, well. Let me... So this is too spread out here. I'm going to... I was going to start with project details, and I definitely didn't do that. Because if we click in here, we have all those that are missing. Because I'm trying to determine how I can move everything over enough. Let's do that real quick. So it has some of the details. File, project info, and we're going to be able to change this stuff. Let's cut this down. I use these all for like a variety of different things, not necessarily what they say they are. I have this whole pre-saved kind of copyright details, but I'll just put that for right now. And let's copy from project. Do you know you can do that? It's really handy, so you don't have to type this stuff in more than once. The publisher, what's Ataka Publishing? I'm probably not going to use all these details, but okay, but that helps a little bit. Editor. So I'm going to change in here. I'm going to get rid of lyricist, right click project info, and that was editor. That just shows me that right at top. Why do I have an opus number? I don't know. I wrote this piece just out of grad school, or in grad school, and so I think I was trying to be fancy. I think it's stupid. We're just gonna, it also doesn't have like a formal name. It's just string quartet number 1. It's not very exciting. Yeah. That's all right. So I'm gonna look at print mode real quick. I think I have a little bit more space. Yeah. So in binding, because I bind my own stuff here, in Finale there was always issues because it would like bump it in with my printer. So I always gave a really big margin, but I do not need to do that here. So I'm going to reset that as well. Because you can see on this left-hand side, there's a huge margin for all those pages. Yeah, in Finale I was doing things kind of manually, and that was, it was probably the wrong. I don't know that I was right for anything I was doing, but that was kind of how I solved those issues. So that gives us a little bit more space. And with binding, I forget the total number of inches. I have it written down somewhere. Because I do a spiral bind for music like this. And then depending on how long the parts are, I'll do either 11 by 17 that's folded in half with pull-out pages, or I think with this one, it's just straight letter. If it was, yeah, with chamber, I typically use 8.5 by 11 letter page, or if it's a really crazy thing, I'll go to 10 by 13, or orchestra, I'll go to 10 by 13, but we're not going to do that here. So this is enough for now. All right, let's see if we can fix my mistakes. So there's text here, and I don't know why. This is measure 12. So there really isn't. It's just showing it. But Dolce's already in there. So let's write mode. It did interpret this stuff correctly though. That's nice. And the Chirka too, the approximate. I'm glad it didn't think that was like actually the letter C. That's nice. We're gonna have to adjust some of the spacing stuff, but for now that's fine. This shit bothers me. I hate this. Where it's bleeding over. I don't like that at all. If I do shift left. Yeah, so, alright. This is one of those things that drives me crazy in Dorico. Actually, this may be under engraving. I always forget. Because like I have my settings saved in other ones, and like somebody mentioned I could import some stuff, but we're starting from scratch for this, just for the purpose of seeing this. I hate that the crescendo goes over the line. I hate that. It should stop before. And I think it's a default somewhere. With dynamics. Position, yeah, that's fine. That's all fine. I had a professor in grad school who used to yell at us if we said decrescendo, because you cannot decrescendo, apparently. I don't speak the language, but so we were only allowed to say diminuendo. And so now it's just stuck with me that I say diminuendo. Continue existing hairpin. I don't usually love that, so we're gonna put that there. Depends on the moment, but for this, we're gonna have to adjust some of these at some point. But for right now, position end of hairpin relative to note or chord. Left side. Do not cross bar line. Do not collect $200. It's a Monopoly reference. All right, that solves that for us. I'm going to change our beat grid here to 16th notes because I'm super curious about something. You notice this gap in space here. What's going on with that? We're going to ungroup this. This is just an experiment. I don't specifically have any thoughts, but I'm wondering if this is moved over or not. It is. I just held Alt and left, and for some reason, this was starting like a 16th note late. So now I've adjusted that. Shift and Alt together, and I can make it larger. But notice, like, if you get to that point, now it's connected to the other side of the bar. It's not going to pass because we have that selected within our engraving options, but that's a thing. All right, let's select this nonsense, and we'll group it again. And like that helps balance it, right, and keep it all in the same plane. Also, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but TouchOSC. These are a bunch of my buttons that I use with TouchOSC for. There's a lot of things. Actually, one of my favorites right here. If I just select everything, and then I have a button on here with filter, and it just filters dynamics. Because oftentimes we have to fix nonsense. So for me, that's just a fast way to do that. All right. I probably should have had a little bit more of a goal of what we're doing, but I don't know. We're just figuring it out. Let's see. So that should have solved some of our dynamic issues. This was always an issue in Finale as well, that I had, like, this measure, it's a tough rhythm for violin 1, but it's also just like an awkward thing moving around here. So in engraved mode, I'm guessing that's not going to work because that's just, granted, this isn't the part, but I think we could probably get away with that. The grace notes are what become the problem because they get either overrun or everything else squishes too much. So that's why I'm trying to avoid that. Yep. Let's see here. I don't remember if this was on the other side in the original version or not. I think in the original I had these, or some of the harmonics more up there. Speaking of which, let's see if these harmonics are harmonics or are they two notes. So I'm going to select bottom note, top note. Nope, they are harmonics. They are actually harmonics. Good job, Dorico. That's pro. That's great. I'm really impressed that Dorico interpreted the music XML and had that properly. Because I know in Finale I cheated all the time and just used two notes. Let's move this over. So basically I'm just gonna, this is so boring. This is why notation sucks. This is so boring. I'm just gonna move around and fix stuff as we find it. Like, nothing about this is really exciting and or fun. So sorry. Oh, also, shit, I'm doing that in engrave mode, and I don't mean to do that. I want to do that in write mode. Right now, we're probably attached, you know, right on this quarter note here. I just want it to be a little bit before. We may have to do that in engrave. Yeah, all right, let's put that down on the second line again. Walking it back. I'm hungry. It's 12:30 Eastern. Okay, back to where we were. So, Dolce. This is really just for violin 1, so I don't think we need this up top. I think we give this just to, and this should be a text. This is a text. Let's put this below. And let's change this. I want, do I have a player text or like specialty text? Don't think I do. All right, so these, if you haven't played with these things, these are like your font styles. Let's take a look at those paragraph styles. So if I make this bigger, look at all these different things, and then let me go back to that Dolce here. Nope, it won't let me. And you can see these were all those interesting things. This label here, I don't know what you would call it. I don't know, it's like a playing technique thing. It's not really a technique though, it's like a style. I don't know what you call it, but we're gonna do something new. Yeah, let's just call it style, for fuck's sake. Paragraph styles. We're gonna add a new one. And we can duplicate it from this just for the ease. I'm using the base font with Dorico, because why not? And we're gonna call this like playing style. I want it to be small though, like 10. And we want it to be italic. I think that's enough for now. So now we're gonna select our dude here and find playing style. So now you don't have to do this manually for every single one. You can just, you know, select your paragraph style. And of course there's other things with like engraving and layout options that you could configure some other stuff if you needed to. But let's just move this over here. I think that's enough. That helps that sizing a little bit. We're gonna go into vertical spacing and we're gonna go down to 10. Still didn't get this over here because I want 3. We're gonna change the frame size. Let's for the first. Let's go a little bit bigger. So I said something on the forums about this that I was like, this is kind of stupid. Like the way this works is, I don't know. I just don't like how you can't drag text from one page to the other. You have to create it there. There's things about this that I find irritating, especially if you do work in like Adobe Illustrator or InDesign, even Word. You know, well, maybe not Word, but you see how like you can move things around really easily, and these frames I don't like. So that's one thing. I would really love to see the frames and the text frames and all this stuff much better. All right, so we're going to copy this layout over. See if we bought ourselves a little bit more space. We have to reset this. So we have to remove page overrides, and we see that that moved up a little bit. But for some reason, it still doesn't think that it has space. Why are you so angry? Blurg. Just for right now, we're going to take our rastral size. God, 5.5 is really small though. I think we're just going to actually make more space because I don't want to go smaller than that. I feel like that's annoying. You look at like Berg's lyric suite or you know, any more modern string quartets, and you see how small everything is, and it just can be hard to read. And I just don't want that. It really doesn't seem like we're making any progress here. I don't know why it's being like that. That is strange to me. There's plenty of space for this to go. This is what I do for a living. I fight Finale. Or Dorico, whatever we're in. I do not understand why this is not letting our rehearsal here. If I delete this, is it going to go over? Some of the spacing defaults. Nope. What if I delete this? Let's just toy. Nope. So I really don't understand why it's not giving me space here. We're going to, well, 8's pretty small. Actually, I'm not going to change that. We will resolve this. Tell me why you're being dumb. You have any ideas? Please save me time. I spend so much damn time running around these libraries. Like, what happens if we... Oh, actually, no. I do need to check that. Do you hear Lance snoring? He's right next to me in this giant pillow, snoring pretty loud. Just for the sake of argument, just to see. If I do 8, it still doesn't get over there. See, this is kind of being stupid. This isn't me. There's something wrong here. Because there's definitely plenty of space. So there's something else that's going on. And I don't know what it is. I'm going to look up rehearsal marks to see if there's anything going on. Even though we had deleted the A, that really shouldn't be an issue. But I just want to look at it real quick. Right now it's to the right of the key signature. I like it on the left because it just creates a little bit more space. So if we hit that, you can see it just moved it over a tiny bit. But to me, every little bit helps with that type of stuff. I do like the baseline, like how it does that. I use the rectangles because why not? I used to use septagons, 7-sided. I don't know why. I think I was trying to be weird for a while. I do not know what is going on here. Why are you being so rude? See, now it brings it over. Create system break. I don't know. All right. We'll keep going because this is annoying, but that's kind of a weird issue. I don't know how to resolve that off the top of my head. Okay. This is so boring. Here we go. We got that. Here's another one to fix. So this is probably off. Whoa, way over, friend. That is weird. Why are you not? This is probably in a global options for dynamics, I would assume. I feel like I ran into this in a... yeah, I know what's going on. So I ran into this in an orchestra piece once with the double basses. And basically, it just had to do with the fact that the lowest one, it looks like there's a ton of gap because of how this is. Like, where there's no bar right here. So I guess technically it's fine. All right, let's move along. Let's start this on another line. I use double bars for my New time signatures. See, this is so crunched. I do not like this. I do not like this at all. And I find it strange that our spacing is different between these. Like it's justifying for some and not for others. Layout options, 10. We're going to say justified distances when you're at least 60. Distance only between systems when frame is at least. We'll do 60 for that one too. Let's just try something out. That looks a little better. The other thing that I don't like, and this is these are too small, I think, for reading, because the font size isn't great. So we're gonna go into library, paragraph styles, and actually this one isn't in paragraph styles. I'll show you that in a second. But let's go to I just said it wasn't in here, and I know that, but I wanted to check something else. But if you go into font styles, because for some reason this is in font styles, immediate tempo text, that's this guy here, and I want this to be much bigger, like 13. I think that's better. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to read. Let's move this stuff over. So now I'm just kind of guesstimating what looks good and makes sense with the music. Right, like trying to end this with what would be a phrase, if it is a phrase. Yeah, stuff like this. This is the stuff that's just like not fun. And I watched a lot of Battlestar Galactica doing this. I think it was in like, I don't know what year it was, honestly. But I went through a lot of Battlestar Galactica in the background while I would do this annoying work. Enjoyed the show, though. See, like this stuff, too much going on. Let me know if this is interesting, because honestly, I don't think it is. But hey, I get a lot of questions about some of these things, and this is what I'm answering. Also, hopefully you saw my new clicky. It's showing things. It's apparently I don't zoom in enough, as I'm always told. Getting rid of these not real text frames. We'll fix that Fuoco in a minute. But right now I'm like on a roll with this. Okay, here you go. Here's an issue that Finale did not, or the import with Dorico made. Here's my guess. In Finale, when you would add a crescendo or something like that, sometimes you could add these expressions or whatever you want to call them from the top or from the bottom. And sometimes, and I mean like top of the stave, bottom of the stave. And when you would do that, it could maybe belong somewhere else. And I'm guessing that's what happened. This belonged somewhere else and it shouldn't have. And this is supposed to have that. Also, these two are not paired. So let's do this. And let's give you Forte. Oh, I hate that it does that. It's so annoying. All right. We're going to manually group these. This is clearly not grouped well. Because if I do that, aha, we have a double. And now it's closer. If you didn't see that before, it was pretty far apart. Right click here, dynamics, we're going to group those, and that cleans that up. These don't look grouped. Yep. If you have a hotkey for grouping and ungrouping dynamics, that's super handy. Also, this is strange. Why do we have a Forte here? We don't need that. This is also super close. I don't think this is going to work. We need to spread this out. What time is it? 11:52. Look how much we have not gotten done. I'm going to quit at like 12 or 1 p.m. 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. I don't know. We'll pick up on this again next week and see where it goes. These need to be grouped. I don't remember where we were. But that kind of solves that for right now. All right, let's get rid of this frame break, turn you into a system break. Here we go. So this batuta, which string players love to do, we need to turn this into a playing technique. So I don't think it's one of the like baseline ones that, yeah. Oh, batuto. So they do have one. Let's see. Coleño. I, in mine, didn't like say that because it's not the wood of the bow. It's just hit. Players have played it differently. Some of them have hit the string with the bow, just like they're going, and like muted strings, and others have used their hand. I'm not super specific about it because I don't know. I don't want to say I don't care, but I like the open interpretation. But let's create a playing technique for this. So here under playing techniques, we're going to hit this plus and add batuta. And let's populate that there. Playing technique, or playback technique, I mean. I don't know if I even care. A lot of this stuff, when it's going to be detailed and performed live, I don't really care about the playback, the MIDI, because, I don't know, like, in my experience, they listen to it maybe once, just to get a feel for things, but they don't, they don't care too much. And I get it, because it doesn't have that much life to it. Granted, like, MIDI is really good these days compared to how it's ever been, but still, like, if it's going to be played live, it's like you don't want to listen to the song too many times because then you'll sound like the song. So I think, yeah, we'll just keep that because who cares? Now we have it over here, meaning we don't have to create it each time. And I could just do that. All right, that. And then this should have an arco because we're back to normal. We could also do Shift P, arco. Look how ugly this spacing is. You ugly. Manual. There we go. That time the reset worked. It's still so strange to me that this one thinks that it's supposed to be this way. I don't know why it does that. All right, let's get rid of this frame. And let's do a system. It's a pretty good page turn. And actually, it's probably cleaner to have this on the next one. Don't need that text. Which of course I have to be in write mode to delete that. So what I was doing before with the batuta, that was kind of what I was talking about, was how I wanted to solve the fuoco. We just did that though. Just delete that. I think it deleted the whole thing, but we're gonna do another playing technique, even though again it's like a style thing. Actually, I don't know. Should we? We can do it as a. The biting, I don't know if you can see that. If I turn off the signposts, it says biting here, which I wanted for everyone. That's like, all of these are supposed to be very yeah type of thing. I don't know. I think we'll just do this. Shift X, and then we're going to say we're going to use English. And now we're just going to put it in italics. I think we're going to do the same thing here. Now, we could create another font or paragraph style if we want, but for right now, that works. Let's move this over. I may be really slow, although I'm kind of not moving at my like normal pace because I'm trying to talk at the same time. But this was slow and boring, I gotta be honest. All right, turn those signposts back on. But yeah, this is literally all it is. Pushing ahead. That was more of a metronomic recommendation for folks. Here's a batuta. Get rid of that. I don't like that it's over on the right. Actually, wait. I think we edit here and then positioning for playing techniques. I don't want to change everything, just like this one. Well, we'll deal with that later. We're going to fix that and move those over because I think they should be. And then I think, yeah, let's move this to the left. I want to get K at the beginning of here. That's my goal. Yeah, like that. I think that just looks a little cleaner. So this text. So we'll need some kind of with fire. All right, well, this is kind of as far as we got. This is annoying work, to be honest. And I know why people were like super concerned and freaked out with having to do this. Like if you have 1,000 pieces and you have to do this for all of those, that sucks. That's a lot to do. I lament for you. You're not crazy for feeling like that, but I think in doing the, you know, the global options, the preferences in dealing with something like your font styles and your paragraph styles, it certainly speeds up the process. Now, we haven't solved that last bit at the end with all of the crunching, but we'll get through that next week, starting somewhere around measure 142. But hopefully this shows it's, you know, and this is a specific piece with a lot of specific stuff in it. So maybe your pieces don't have as many issues, but if they do, yeah, shoot those in the comments below. I'd love to hear what are the issues that folks are running into so we can take a look at how to solve that together. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Right? Let's do it again.